In this painting demo, I challenged myself to create 2 quick abstract paintings from 1 piece of gessoed watercolor paper through the art of division. Hey everyone, it's Chris Loud. I also go over some of the reasons I find this exercise to be beneficial. I decided to add another challenge for myself to put both items up for auction on eBay with 100% of the net proceeds benefiting the American Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals. I thought that would be a fun way to use these small paintings from this exercise to try and raise a few dollars for a worthy cause. So if you're interested or you know anyone that's interested, the links are in the description. So I started this off by doing a little mark making with a stick and Mars Black acrylic paint. And I love using sticks sometimes because you can get some really unpredictable marks. And I really liked these marks. I'll definitely do this again in future paintings. So the colors I used in this painting were Mars Black, Titanium White, Magenta, Winsor Blue, Hansa Yellow, Yellow Green, and Bright Aqua Green. I made a few small marks at the end with a white Posca marker, a little charcoal, and also include just a little bit of tissue paper. So creating an intuitive abstract painting on paper and then cutting it into 2 or more smaller pieces offers several benefits. And I realized, not everyone is comfortable cutting a painting, but here are some of the reasons why I like doing this exercise. So it helps us explore composition. So, cutting an abstract painting can reveal new compositions and perspectives that we might not have noticed initially. Each section that we cut becomes its own unique artwork, and that encourages us to see our piece in new ways. It also helps us with increased productivity. We're effectively creating 2 or more pieces of art from a single painting session. And this is a great way to generate more work quickly, especially when we're experimenting or want to build a larger portfolio. And obviously we can do a version of this using multiple canvases pushed together as well if we want to, if we don't want to use paper. And this can bring to light hidden potential. So sometimes a section of our painting might contain, beautiful textures and colors or shapes that are lost in the larger context. But by cutting it, we can highlight and showcase these, little gems. And this also gives us versatility in display options. Smaller pieces are easier to frame and to ship and to sell. They offer more versatility in how they can be displayed, whether on their own or as a diptych, where both halves complement each other. And, one of my favorite things about doing this is that it can give us a fresh perspective and new ideas. So this exercise often leads to new ideas and inspirations for future projects. The act of, dissecting a painting, forces us to focus on smaller areas, and maybe sparking new directions in our creative process. And for those of you that are, preparing to sell or thinking about selling art over the holidays, this is a great way to create several small and affordable pieces. So if you like this video, feel free to give it a thumbs up. If you'd like to see more videos like this, feel free to subscribe. As always, if you have any feedback or questions, I'd love for you to leave me a comment. And I also want to say thank you to everyone. I really do appreciate your support of this channel. So thank you. So you can see I'm using a pre-cut mat. So the opening there is a 5x7. So I cut this and am starting to look at these pieces through that kind of viewfinder, because those are the mats that I'm going to end up putting these smaller pieces in. I just have to kind of look at each one of them, see what the composition looks like, and what I might want to do to enhance that. I didn't do a whole lot to these. I added some dots and some lines, some stripes, I believe, on one of these, and just kind of kept playing with it, and then really tried to figure out, what pieces of that was going to do, because it was obviously bigger than a 5x7. So played around, moving it around a bit to find out that kind of framework of that piece. And I do use a workable fixative on this. I spray this after I was done with these pieces, to make sure that charcoal didn't smear and smudge. If you're interested in any of that, I have all the tools and things I used in the description. You can check that out. But to prepare this, I went ahead and sprayed the fixative on it, and then used a varnish, which I'll show you here shortly, to kind of seal this. I know not everyone likes to use varnish. For me, it is something I like to do just to help the piece last a little longer and have that UV protection. Because I know a lot of the paintings that I have in my house, the sun does directly hit those sometimes, so I do like to put that on. So I have this is the workable fixative that I use. Like I said, I've got a link in there, and I just basically focused on the charcoal pieces with that. And then I'm using this Liquitex satin varnish that I'm going to varnish this with. And one thing I like to do before I varnish is put tape on the back and put those down. And you saw me putting a little bit of the varnish in that little cup. That was a to-go cup I got with something in it, and clean that out. And I like to put the varnish in that cup and dip the brush in that, as opposed to pouring that onto the painting itself. Gives me a little more control of how thick the varnish is that I'm putting down. I grabbed a brush and realized right away that it was a little small, so I used that, but then I grab a little bit bigger brush to finish these two pieces up. And although I have this sped up and it looks like I'm going pretty fast, I actually like to go a little bit slower when I'm varnishing, just to make sure I don't get a lot of bubbles and lines and striations in there. And usually whatever lines that I do have kind of work themselves out as it dries. But the satin varnish does, because it's acrylic dries in more of a matte finish, it helps kind of pull those colors out a little bit more. Not quite as much as a gloss varnish, but I tend to like the satin, so I don't have quite as much glare as I do with the gloss. So these are the pieces in the mats. I'm putting them in these sleeves. If you want to know more about matting, I have a video, and I'll put that in the description. You can check that out, and it has all these mat boards as well, pre-cut mat boards. So here are the final pieces in different orientations. And these are 5x7 is what I cut these down to. And I'll show you this last piece here. But I really enjoyed this exercise. Are these great pieces and masterpieces? Of course not. But they were a lot of fun to do. So thanks for watching, and keep on painting.